Hi, I'm Bryan Martin. Horse racing and race calling in particular has been my life for over 45 years. It includes 29 broadcasts of the Melbourne Cup. And for this particular week, for Tobin Brothers, Say It Now week, in my life came someone who was very important right at the beginning. He's one of the greats in broadcasting now. I think you might know who he is. Come and join him, Peter Donegan.
Hello, Bryan.
Pete,
Fancy seeing you at
you
Flemington.
too, mate.
Some of my earliest memories, Bryan, are watching the old black and white footage of Melbourne Cups and Lightfingers and Zaima going to the line, and like you, it sparked something in me. And so then from the time I was that high, I wanted to be a race caller. And then I met you in the 70s, and there you were calling the greyhound. You were calling lots of other things, but you were calling the greyhounds at Olympic Park at that time, and it started an association which has been going for more than 40 years now.
Over my lifetime, I can't imagine doing anything else but race calling. And I remember back in 1956 hearing the Melbourne Cup when we lived in West Ivanhoe, in Green Street, West Ivanhoe. I was 6 years of age. I heard this crystal clear description of Evening Peel winning the Melbourne Cup on the radio, sitting in the lounge with my two older brothers, my mum and dad. And being an inquisitive little 6-year-old, I went around the back of the radio to try and find where the man was that was calling the race. Couldn't find him, but from that day on, that's all I wanted to do. Our careers have sort of been on a parallel, but some fantastic times, weren't they?
They were, and I think some of the great memories, and I know that you practice with the tape recorder, and that was what I used to do when I was with you at Olympic Park or at Sandown, and I'd have the tape recorder, I'd help you where I could, then duck out, call a couple of races, play them to you, and hopefully, you know, Bryan Martin would say that, oh, you're going all right, but you need to do this differently, or you need to do that differently. And I remember a couple of times being at Werribee, standing on the roof there at Werribee
On
with
the
that
tin roof,
broadcast box.
yeah, the old stand.
And practicing out there, and it was a fabulous grounding.
After radio school, a break in radio at the great station 3AW in the mid-60s, starting out as the mail boy, then turntable operator, and my day off would be Saturday, and I'd go to the races with my tape recorder, and there'd be a spare box there at Moonee Valley or Caulfield or Flemington, and up alongside me would be the icons of broadcasting at the time, Bill Collins, Bert Bryant and Joe Brown. So just to be near these greats of our profession was quite fantastic. You got so enthusiastic about it. You couldn't wait for Saturday. Every day of racing now, I think a lot of people get burnt out, the jockeys, the trainers, the broadcasters in their own right, Sunday racing, night racing, but we came through a wonderful era. But it was this bond and friendship that we had going. We knew exactly what we had to do. We knew we had to do the hard yards, but we had fun.
We did, and the other great thing that I think with our association over the years is I got to know your family really well. I got to know Nance and Jack, your mum and dad, and of course your wife Jill. Got to hold little Beck when she was a baby, and little Tim, not so little anymore.
No, married with children, you know, so we're grandparents.
Don't tell me that. It makes me feel old.
We see those photos of you with hair down to here.
Oh yeah,
you look like the 13th apostle.
I did have hair at that stage, and it was a vastly different colour to the hair that I've got at the moment. But I think we're all in the same boat,
but we did socialise. We'd meet with family. You'd be over there over Christmas period. Your parents were the milk bar there in Albert Park. And there was something about it. Life was easy. Life was easy.
So here was this young fella still in school, wanting to fulfil his dream of being a race caller, and hearing these familiar voices on the radio all the time, but to actually get to meet them was an amazing thrill. Take yourself back to when you were a kid and you had idols and you had people that you looked up to. Well, one of those for me was Bryan Martin. Just a young man at the time, but great talent in the race calling ranks, and up with the likes of Bill Collins and Bert Bryant and John Russell and all of the greats, Joe Brown at that stage. So the opportunity for a young fella to get to work with someone that you admired and someone that you idolised in lots of ways was something that I couldn't pass up. And I learnt so much from Bryan early on about the racing caper, about not only calling races, and that was obviously very important, but about racing.
So it's been over 45 years, and I've absolutely loved every moment of it. It's taken me around the world to call in 9 different countries around the world, every state of Australia, calling my own horse in 5 Cox Plates in Fields of Omar. So racing has been fantastic to me.
I wouldn't be standing amongst these noble beasts and have all the memories that I have of being here at Flemington and actually calling won Melbourne Cup, all I ever wanted to do, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for BM.
You know, Pete, it's always good to be amongst friends, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, I get the chance now to say to you, thanks for being a good friend, and thanks for being a part of my journey in race calling, and I'm so proud of what you've achieved as well, mate.
Bryan, thank you. It's been a great association. You've been a great mate and a great mentor.
Good on you.
Thanks, Bryan.
How you really feeling? What's there in your heart right now?